So my name is Holly Niemela. This is the third time I've come here to teach. Who has come to the first event I did, a 2-day program called Search Inside Yourself in November 2015? So maybe none of you were in school then, maybe. No. Okay. How many are first-year students? Okay, a lot, first year. So how many second then? Okay. How many came to the event I did on the 30th of September? I did an event here on the 30th of September, the Change Your Mindset. It was on a Saturday. Yes, in the cold bath. Yeah, it would get full quick. Okay, who you? Okay, how are you doing now? I don't know if if you heard about that. I remember reading about it. It's called Change Your Mindset, and it was an all-day program to learn about perceiving how we perceive our limits and how to change the way we think about those limits. And the end result was going into this cold bath of 2 degrees with we had ordered 600 kilos of ice. So it was really interesting. Very cool event. So today they asked me to come and talk about emotional intelligence. And when I heard that there were actually 80 some odd, and then he said, I think there's 100 people, I asked my colleague, Edouard Payen, to come and help me because I wanted to do breakout groups. It's 3-hour practice. We're going to take a 3-hour workshop. We're going to take 2 if we need more, if we need 3 breaks, because I think it's important to when I'm going to be talking, or we're going to be talking about 1/3 of the time, and hopefully doing practices about 2/3 or 50-50 at least. Okay. I just want to go over a little bit what I wrote about this, and I don't know if you received this. I don't know how they talk about the programs here, but basically this was a half-day experiential practice workshop, interactive workshop on emotional intelligence in the digital age. What, as you can see here, is technology fueling the empathy deficit. Okay, so that's with maybe a few assumptions that we'll go over. The first thing I wanted to talk about, just to maybe just get the ideas going a little bit, is what is connection to you? Like, how was connection before you came to 42? Now you're at 42, and what can you imagine when you leave 42? What skills are you using today at 42 that might fall into the emotional intelligence realm? Living with technology. Okay, voila. You guys are in tech. And being human. You're also human. Is it compatible? Okay. How do you see yourself in this world, working in tech and being in this world in 5 years from now? So we're going to just touch on those kinds of things in this workshop today. We're going to, first I want to just talk about technology. Okay, I think you guys can teach me a lot about technology. So we know what technology is, okay? Empathy. I remember when I taught here 2 years ago, I said, what do you think about compassion and empathy? And somebody raised their hand and they said, it's a weakness. I was like, oh my God. Okay. So bouncing back from that, what it still is a little bit of a difficulty for me to think that a young person would think that it's a weakness. But actually, I can understand. Like, you got to be tough. You got to get out there in the workplace. You got to move your ass. You got to get it done. It's like yesterday, I spoke at a thing called Revolution at Work, and a woman who was on the panel with me, I talked about what I do, self-awareness, blah, 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 the human side of things. And she kind of jumped on me and said, when I said, we got to bring these trainings into companies, into schools. And all of a sudden she said, well, no, we have to get to work. And those things, I don't want personal development in my work. I want just to be professional. Whew. I was surprised a woman would say that. Okay, so maybe that's my unconscious bias. Now, I know there's been some interesting things about women and mixity and what's going on at the Fortitude School. So I'm really glad to have this conference today because I think that we'll be able to touch upon maybe some of the issues that were written in that article or not, what's going on. I mean, from what I've heard and what I've seen, there's so many positive things in here. So maybe this workshop is going to even help bounce back more. Okay, so let's go into empathy. So empathy is that idea of you, me, we. It's basically saying that I have the ability to experience and understand what you're feeling, so I can empathize with you, but I also am able to keep my limits. I know who I am, I know what my perspective is, and I know how to assess that person's feelings. Well, that's a really important skill in emotional intelligence. Now I know that I just want to black out this screen. Before I get, so technology and empathy, that's what we're talking about. I guess I'll introduce myself a little bit more, and I'll introduce Edouard a little bit more, because that's important to know. I've been working in this world of self-awareness, mindfulness, yoga, meditation for 30 years. It's been my work. I've had yoga studios and taught all kinds of programs around the world. I'm one of the 100 Search Inside Yourself teachers, a program done from Google. And voila. Apparently, I have an entrepreneurial mindset. I've only worked for myself for 30 years. I don't know if it's an entrepreneurial mindset or I'm just really têtu. And I like to work for myself. But anyway, today I'll be working with Edouard Payen, who is actually also my husband. And he was 25 years in finance. Is a karate man. I've been doing Zen meditation for many years. In 2009, with the crash, he decided to leave the financial world and retrain and change his career path from, well, a career path at 50-something to go into this kind of consulting with emotional intelligence, bonheur. I'll let him explain a little bit more himself. So anyway, you've got two people who have been in the workforce in different ways in front of you to tell you a little bit about what is this empathy business and how are we managing ourselves with technology and where are we going to go? Okay. This is from Burning Man, a really popular sculpture that they did, which is just another way to talk about how am I, sometimes we have in conflict and somewhere inside we want to say, I want to get out of that conflict. I really do want to be, get along with others, but something always blocks us, Have you ever had that feeling, like maybe with your friends or your family or, I don't know, anybody, even at work or at school, rather, and you're kind of pissed off, and then you say, I know there's something, I just want to, get beyond that. So is this screen jumping or is it me? Am I having like an out-of-body experience here? Can you guys do something about that? Or is it maybe the cords or something, connection? Because that's really not very nice. Can you guys hear me? Maybe you can check, Edouard. Yeah, thanks. So often what we teach, when I say we, it's a training that I've had from all kinds of leaders, yogis, John Kabat-Zinn, Mathieu Ricard, all the leaders in this kind of work. It's just jumping a little bit. About what are the practices that we can do? Well, we'll get into them, but basically empathy is all about, kind of just seeing what's similar in the other person. Even if it's just that he or she is a human being. As we look and we think, I've got nothing in common with this person. How can I empathize? Well, you've got to find those similarities. And it's something that we naturally will do as human beings. Okay, we started doing it the day we were born, with trying to connect to our mother or our father or the person who was our caretaker. And our brain was already acting that way to mimic the other person so that we would be liked, so that we could have that connection. Okay, mirror neurons, that's called. So today, in our world, you probably know, and am I blocking the screen from you there? It's okay? It's okay? All right. We're in an attention economy, you know that. Everybody is asking for your attention. It's still jumping. Sorry. I don't know how you guys are on your phones, but phones and devices on social networks, about how are we actually, our brain is reacting and overreacting all the time. We're having such a demand on ourselves that we're actually overheating our mind. And I was talking to somebody yesterday at this conference that I was at about this mental burnout. It's just a neurological burnout of constantly being on call, present. I see it with our kids. We've got 6 kids under 30, and how this phone has to be, right there with them. How many have their phone right here with them? Just show me. Pick up your phones. Show me your phones. Only if you have it on you. Don't move. If you have it on you, on your physical body now, put up your phones. How many? Who have it on their physical body? Put it up. Put it up. Okay, so that's not bad. That's good. That's amazing. About half. Okay. What do you do how do you feel when you don't have your phone with you? Or you go out at night and shit, you forgot your phone. Naked. Yeah. 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 Like you think oh, I want to take a picture of that. And I couldn't. Yeah, still jumping. So, this whole idea of the attention economy, everybody, the databases, they're all going after us, and we're all somehow embedded in these algorithms that you guys know about that are keeping all this data about who we are, what we are, and then we're getting fed back. Well, you're that, so we're going to keep sending you that message. Do we become that? Who is deciding who we are and who we are becoming? Okay, this is all about the attention economy and what we need to prepare for. Who's deciding what? Are you deciding in your life? You think you're deciding everything in your life? It's interesting because right now we're spending about half of our time every day, we're offline. Offline meaning that maybe we have something to do today and we're sitting down doing this program. I don't know what you guys do. Well, half the time you're there, you're not there. You're thinking, your mind wanders. It's going off to a Facebook message. It's going off to this. It's going off to that. We no longer can keep our mind focused for more than, I always forget if it's 8 or 6 seconds, but it's less than a goldfish. Our average capacity of focusing, concentrating is 6 or 8 seconds. That's not very much. And then it goes off. Then it comes back. Then it goes off. Then it comes back. So the training that we do is all about this idea of learning how to focus, learning how to be aware of oneself, self-awareness, conscience de soi. That comes through mindfulness and emotional intelligence. What is mindfulness? Well, actually, let me just say 3 things that we're basically going to talk about today and practice on are mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and bring in some neuroscience because I think that you guys might appreciate that, knowing that what I'm saying is not just blah, blah. It's coming from all the science and research behind this, okay? So mindfulness is the first attribute of emotional intelligence, which is self-awareness. So mindfulness-based emotional intelligence is making waves in the world. So this is one of the hot trends for the last 10 years. And since 2009, it came to France. Edward and I were part of the first group of teachers who started teaching mindfulness. What is mindfulness? It's being in the moment, present in the moment. That's all. You can practice it informally by just now realizing, am I listening to Holly? Am I going off to what I have to do afterwards? And when I come back, just notice how often you're here listening, feeling in your body, noticing what you're feeling as I talk, noticing the thoughts that are coming. And then you go off to maybe something you want to have for lunch or dinner, whatever. Your mind just jumps all the time. Being able to focus and concentrate gives us an immense sense of happiness, immense sense of positive hormonal releases. It's one of the top skills. Emotional intelligence is noted as one of the top skills for the 21st century from the United Nations and the OCDE. So this state of active presence, you can train it by, which we'll do later today, practicing meditation. Is anybody here already practicing meditation? Great. Okay. Cool. So this idea of what I teach a lot these days with mindfulness is the idea of the flow state. Okay, the flow state is an actual state of mind that you can measure. I show the wave because it's something that surfers are always talking about. I could have a jazz musician up here as well. Same thing. It's that when you're doing something where the challenge and your skills are in common, then you enter into a flow state. So when you're challenged and you have the skills to go into that and you keep moving and the challenge goes higher and your skills get better, you're in that flow state of when you're like on a surfboard. If the guy or the girl is thinking of something else, they're going to fall off. Okay, so this is a state that we also have in meditation. We can generate that state of flow where we are completely aligned, our mind, our emotions, and our body. Something that top athletes do, and now it's coming more and more. Not yet quite in France. I think in mindfulness world, I'm probably the only one who's talking a lot about that, but it's something that I find very interesting because we can learn how to hack it. We can learn how to get into it with kind of not getting on a surfboard, finding that big wave, but doing it in other ways to still have that state, to live in that state. It's one of the highest states of, I don't want to say ecstasy, but sometimes we talk about ecstasy, that it's a state where we feel that we have all of our capacity, intellectual, emotional, physical, all together working towards whatever is that goal that we want. So if you're coders, which I think you guys are, you could just code. Maybe you have that already, I'm sure. Once you start coding something and you feel like you get into it, you're like, you got it, and you're going. How many have already felt that kind of sensation? Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure all of you. So that sensation, like once you get it, you get the idea, you get going, you just feel, you don't think about it. You're not thinking about it anymore, actually, because we've actually gone off of the executive thinking part of our brain, and we're into another part of the brain that is just flowing. Okay? That's where we have a high content of positive endorphins and other hormones that come into our body, and we feel great. Okay? As contrast to when we're in a state where we feel the challenge is so high, there's no way we can get it, and we feel anxious, anxiety, don't understand this, don't get it, what's going on. Or the opposite, we have so many skills and the challenge is so low, bored, who cares? I can, So of course, I mean, we're going to move. It's not that we're trying to get 100% every day, be in the flow state. I mean, that would be really difficult. The thing is, we can learn how to ride waves of flow state and weave them into our lives on a daily basis. So I want you to understand that when you get into the flow state, it follows your focus. So training your focus, training your mind is a way to get into that state and whatever things you want to do. A little bit about emotional intelligence. This is kind of the modern father of emotional intelligence. His name is Daniel Goleman. He was one of my teachers at Search Inside Yourself. And he talks about, it's really just knowing yourself, knowing your internal states, knowing your preferences, your resources, and any intuitions that you may have. Okay, emotional intelligence is going to bring us to a state of accurate self-assessment, knowing ourselves, which gives us confidence. Kind of like moving from low intensity, like not being able to figure out life, it's just kind of fuzzy, to going to this high intensity, everything is clear, life is amazing, and we see everything that's in front of us. Okay, basically, what Daniel Goleman is talking about is just saying about how self-mastery is in the parts of the brain, and I'm just going to zoom to my parts, and I'm going to explain to you the whole thing. No, he's not talking. Okay, so basically, Dan Goleman, father of modern, emotional intelligence. He writes about it all the time. He's really well known. He's a fantastic guy. He's just amazing. You could look at any of his videos on YouTube. He's really interesting. So basically, what he's talking about is how do we actually, what part of our brains are working when we're whether it's motivation, whether it's empathy, which we're going to get into in a little bit later, whether it's self-awareness, whether it's self-mastery, what's going on? It's basically saying that what you fire, you wire. Okay, what you fire, you wire. What you think is how you're going to wire your brain. Good thing is, as often I meet people who say, je suis câblé comme ça, je peux pas faire autrement. I'm wired like that. I can't change. That's how I am. Well, it's not true, because neuroplasticity, research, and all the results are showing that we can rewire our brain. We can rewire it and change our habits, change our cognitive ways of being, and we just have to become aware of it. Okay? We just have to become aware of those unconscious biases sometimes we might have. We might have to become aware of habits that we have that we may want to change. Okay? So again, the key word is awareness in all of this. Specifically in the brain, what we're going to be talking about is the center in the amygdala. The amygdala is the fight, flight, or freeze part of our brain. It's archaic. It's the part of the brain that helped us to survive, okay, and helped us to be able to move, be able to, like I say, fight, flight, or freeze, without thinking about it. It just happens. The problem is, and that's how our evolution has been, but the problem is today, many people are having that fight, flight, or freeze just if their boss, walks in front of their office. What's he going to do today? Or we're getting triggered all the time to react and think we are in survival mode here. And this is the overriding reason why we have so much the stress factor in our lives is so important that it's going to be one of the top reasons why people are sick. 1 out of 4 people are going to have a mental health problem. This is your generation coming up. 1 out of 4 mental health problem. It's enormous, okay? Because so much of our way we've been taught for some reason is bringing us to the fact that everything is stressful. We didn't get that paper done. Oh my God, I'm going to die. You don't say I'm going to die, but the brain, you've registered it as such a problem, okay? So what we are doing is saying that, well, we have to strengthen the prefrontal cortex, so the blue part of the brain there in front, which is the more recent part of the brain that's been developed for executive thinking. So it's really simple. When I teach to little kids, I tell them this is the brain. Okay, so this is the brain. Here we are. My thumb in the middle is where is the amygdala, and here is the prefrontal cortex. So I just say that, okay, kids, when mom or dad or whatever gets mad at you, and does something and yells at you, what do you feel like? I want to scream. I want to flip my lid. Same thing. So flipping your lid means when you lose your cool, when you react instead of responding. And we do it all the time. The thing of meditation and mindfulness and these practices helps you is to train actually this like a muscle so that you don't flip your lid. So maybe you just a little bit like, oh, he's an asshole. But you don't say it. You just think, you feel it in your body. You feel, not going to do anything. And then, something else happens. And, oh, how could, pourquoi il fait ça? All those little things that bug us and continue until we realize that actually we can choose to know what are those little trigger points on us that bother us all the time. Why are we reacting like that? What made us like that? You can change it. Okay, so this is really unnerving. I'm sorry, this jumping of the thing, but anyway, this is called what we call the amygdala hijack. So to go beyond being hijacked all the time, to become master of your own inner universe, you need to train. You can train, okay? We're not going to get this guy talking either, so forget that. But this is just a study from Google talking about basically showing that after even just a 2-day program, how you can increase the sense of wellness, you can increase the sense of that you can take a pause and you can respond instead of reacting. Okay, again, I think this is really, I'm going to stop this part of because this jumping up and down is a little bit unnerving. So I'm just going to stop it there because we're going to do a practice. And I think I can just blank it out like that. Voilà. Okay, so we're going to do a practice. I want you to, again, just sit comfortably. We're going to do a practice where It's called a body scan. So if you're wearing glasses, you might even want to take your glasses, just put them off to the side. And try to sit up as straight as possible. Okay? You have to hold, just keep your back straight. You can sit on the floor if you want with this on your backs, however you like. So our body, okay, I didn't really say much about our body. Body is where there's huge intelligence. We feel things before our thinking brain knows it's happening. The more that we're in touch with our body, the sensations of our body, the more we're able to use that intelligence correctly. That's where the intuition is born. So I just want you to settle down. Just bring all of your attention just to the sensation of your body right now, like whatever you're feeling, noticing. You're just noticing the sensation of the contact of your body and the seats, cushions, the feet touching the floor. Notice the position of your hands. And if you can, try to now stay steady. Meaning don't move. Just try to feel that you can sink into your body. Whatever those sensations that are there, let them be. Notice your breath. Movement of the breath in the body. And maybe just take a moment for noticing this body like an incredibly aligned machine that's working without you having to think about it. Thank God. We would have all forgotten to breathe years ago. All the different connections and interconnections from all the systems, circulatory, respiratory, digestion. Just the liver alone has thousands of interconnections that we don't need to think about. And now just notice the sensation of your feet, just your feet on the floor, the sensation of the contact of your feet with maybe your socks, your shoes. Coming up through bottoms of the legs, feeling the ankles. Without moving, just notice, can you feel that part of your body without moving it? Calves. Knees, the thighs, I'm just noticing what's happening on those legs right now. Coming through buttocks, hips, how you're seated. And now just try to notice the whole lower part of the body together, from the hips down. Without moving, just notice. and let it dissolve and focus again your awareness now just on the abdomen. So there can be sensations of breathing, the movement, the expansion, the contraction. Maybe the sensation of having had lunch or not having had lunch. Maybe the sensation of a knot, something blocked in the belly. And a sensation of anxiety, maybe an emotion where you feel something in the belly, common place to feel. I come to the opposite side of the lower back, noticing deep in the body where the spine, the lumbar region starts. Just breathe up your whole spine into the center of your head. And breathe down that whole spine. Just notice for a second inside of you this amazing spine that allows you to be upright, that protects the central nervous system, that allows all the important circulatory processes to have movement without thinking about it. Now feel the whole back, your whole back, particularly the right shoulder blade. And then the left shoulder blade. And come now to the front side of the body, from front of the rib cage, center of the chest, and just feel as you breathe in and out that movement of the rib cage that opens, closes. Try to take a deep breath, a really deep breath, and feel how wide your thoracic cage opens, closes. Notice the sensation, and when you breathe in deeply, what does that do? What is the sensation associated? And leaving the chest area, come through down through the hands. Maybe your hands are joined together, maybe they're separated and placed on each leg. However they are, just feel them. Feel the sensation of the fingertips. See if you can feel just on the left hand, the index finger. See if you can feel just the right hand thumb. Concentrate. Focus on just right hand thumb. And from the fingers, the palms of the hands, backs of the hands, wrists, together both forearms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, and connecting up through the shoulders, the neck, and feel the neck, feel the whole neck, and notice the connection neck to body, neck to head, neck connecting body and head. The vulnerability of the neck, the importance of the neck. And come into the head and how the head is balanced. How do you feel your head is balanced right now through your neck? Little to the right, are you a little backwards, a little forwards? Can you make it do a minuscule movement if you need to? Tiny movement just to feel that the head is really centered. Then progressively going through the facial features, forehead, eyebrows, the eyes, nose, cheeks, mouth, outside the mouth, the lips, inside the mouth, tongue, palate, teeth, coming outside of the mouth, the chin, the jaw, ears, whole face. Feel the whole face. Now slowly notice if there's any sensation when you do a very small smile, just letting the corners of the lips move upwards. Think about something either that made you laugh or something that you love, someone that you love, something good. Whatever it is, see what comes to your mind first, notice it, and let the corners of the mouth just move upwards. Concentrate on that. And let it go. I feel the whole body, feeling whole body. This is the practice called body scan. Notice now as we leave the practice, just take a deep breath in, a deep breath out. And I invite you to open your eyes. Maybe they're already open. And you're just going to take a minute, just turn to whoever's the person close to you and just talk about what was that practice? What did you feel? How did you live it? What do you feel right now? Just go ahead and I'm just going to modify something on the machine here. Just share, what did I live? What did that feel like? Was that weird? I don't know. So just find a partner next to you. Just turn next to somebody. Okay, so can finish. You'll have more time to exchange. Just to have a little bit of feedback. Does anybody want to, how was that practice for you? Great? Okay, what's great? Who said great? Great. Okay, what's great?
Hello. I really felt my body, like I was really conscious of it. I don't usually think of my body. I felt heavy and relaxed. Yeah, that's about it.
Anyone else? Thank you. Did you? Yeah? Go ahead. You can just pass that to him because I think it's easier to, or, yeah.
For me, it was horrible because I couldn't calm down. My body was moving in all the sense, and I didn't feel really well, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So why do you think you didn't feel well? Like, what was it when you say I didn't feel well? What was the sensation of not feeling well?
My back was hurting a bit, but then the way to calm down and stuff like this, like to be so chill, it was not like I couldn't chill like this. You know what I mean?
You couldn't chill? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so, and what does that tell you?
Maybe I'm too stressed, but I don't feel I'm stressed.
Okay. See, sometimes our mind says, I'm not stressed, I'm fine. I'm just moving like an engine. I have once this slide of this train coming through Siberia, you know, in the snow. No one was going to stop it. But in fact, that train is actually feeling pretty bad. I mean, your body may be telling you something. I don't know. You're the one who's going to have to say when you feel bad. I mean, just sitting here and, wow, someone can feel so relaxed and someone can feel so, yeah. So that's something to work with, to see. Sometimes we're going so fast in our minds. Our bodies are just always staying here. Our body can only stay here. My mind, I can travel backwards, forwards to another country, another dimension. My body is always here. So alignment, where we have actually our best sensations, is when the mind and the body are in that same space, and aligned and focused. Okay, so we'll see how you progress in the day. One more person? Yeah, you just pass it over.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I meditate quite a bit already, and it's really interesting. It's a new technique. I don't really do that, but it really triggers something. Like as at first, I was really listening to you. At some point, I didn't hear at all. I was completely away, and now I'm feeling I'm definitely more in the place here now, and I'm listening to you completely, which I wasn't. Well, I was focused, obviously, but
not so much.
I don't hear it in the same way, and now it's like kind of everything slowed down a lot. The rhythm.
Good. That's interesting. Okay, right, great. So that's the end of my introduction. I'm going to pass to Edouard, who's going to give continue this work of just so you have some background as to what is it, why we came here, what are we doing in emotional intelligence and mindfulness, and we'll get into more of that idea of why technology and empathy, and go on and off on that. Okay, so I pass Edouard.
Hello to everyone. I'm Edouard. Just a quick background on me. I was in banking for a long while, too long. And then when I was in the banking industry, I felt stressed quite often. And when I left, I wanted to help the people that I thought were stressed. So we trained with Holly into this MBSR, which is stress management, that we applied to company. Then when going into company, we thought that trying to de-stress people when management techniques were stressing was not very good. So we trained into new management technique at the MIT. And then we said, but why do we want to do all that? And that is, of course, to generate well-being and happiness. We went to Bhutan and to be trained into happiness and the example of Bhutan. And then we came back here. When I say we, it's I and one of my colleagues. And so we try to apply that now in our country. But today, part of what we want to discuss is about connection. The example of bad connection we had earlier with that technology when the image was flipping up and down. And that is disconnection. If we want to connect, we have to learn what is the main disconnects of our times, because that applies as well to us as our world. So if I'm connected to the technique, I will be able to make it work. And I want to talk about disconnections. And disconnection is what is applying now. Voilà. Here we are. So that is the bridge. We take the view of the bridge as a way to connect. When we go on a bridge, it is to connect from one side to the other side. And without the bridge, we have a disconnect. And that goes here. And here we have A in French. We don't have it in French, but it is here. We have the first disconnect, which is a figure 1.5. That means that every year we consume, we as humanity, we consume 1.5 Earth, meaning we consume what Earth produces in 1 year and a half, we consume it in 1 year. Which means that every year, at around mid-July, we have consumed what the Earth is producing in 1 year. So that is the first disconnect that we have, which is with the environment. Our society is sort of using us and destroying partly us. And that is the first disconnect that we have. Ah, oui, oui, en français, moi ça me va très bien. Est-ce que quelqu'un ne parle pas français? So the others will have to support my broken English. Sorry for that. After having good American, then you have bad English here. The advantage of that is that normally people understand me very well, specifically the French people. Second disconnect is with the others. Fracture sociale, 2.5. That means that on Earth, 2.5 billion, more or less, live under the seuil de pauvreté, as we say, or have a low quality of life. In France, people living under the seuil de pauvreté is the equivalent to more or less 1/6. So around 10 million people live under the seuil de pauvreté, meaning that they have less than 1,000 euro per month to live on. And that is a second fracture, a second disconnect, which is huge. And then we have the third one. Is it coming, the third one? Voilà. Fracture de sens. There are 3 times more people dying every year because they committed suicide than people dying because of conflicts in France and because of natural disasters. 3 times, more or less. And that's a huge number. That number comes mainly because of a lack of sense in what people do in their lives. They have lost connection. They have lost connection with the purpose of their life. They have lost connections with other people. As an example, in France, 2 farmers commit suicide every day, and not that many people know about it. So this is a huge problem, and that problem is because of a lack of sense that our society has developed with other people. And that is that strong feeling of disconnection that one must understand before being able to know how to reconnect to that. Of me? Yes, of course, yes. Voilà. So these are key numbers, and why do we present that to you? Because you are the generation, part of the generation, which is responsible to change all that. We are responsible, of course, we are at our generation, but you will be part of that world that we need to change, and that is about connection. Because if we don't connect with nature, if we don't connect with others and with ourselves, there is a huge humanity disconnection. And that is to be linked as well with empathy. The empathy that we may have for ourselves, for others, and for nature is something which is very key. That is where we would like to do another practice. And for that other practice, I will ask you simply to close your eyes. Close your eyes and breathe. Breathing in and breathing out the way you are. Just spending the next few moments. I am being breathed in, and I am being breathed out. And now I would like you to remember a moment of happiness, being that today, being that yesterday, being that last week or last month, or even later. Just try to remember a moment of happiness in your life. It can be quick, it can be important, it can be very light. Just focus on a moment of happiness. And once you have in your mind that moment of happiness, once you are within this moment of happiness, try to remember what was my body sensations at the time. What were my emotions? What were my thoughts? And now I ask you to open your eyes and have an exchange like last time, but there is one who is going to talk about a time of happiness. The other one listen, and when listening feels what is happening within his body, his or her body, emotions, thoughts, and then vice versa. So one is listening, one is in talking. You exchange, and after that you may have a small exchange on what it was that you lived through. If it is not clear, you may ask questions, yes. Yeah, you had, yes. Then you find something else, or then you don't exchange on it. Yeah, it's yeah, okay. A would be no air or short air. So, yeah, you decide between, in order to see who is going to start. Now, you may change your happiness moment if you don't want to exchange with one, and you don't need to have to explain everything about that time of happiness. Just to try to say, well, at the time I was happy for that and that reason. And then try to express in a few words what were your body sensation, emotion, and thought at the time. Now, in a binôme, the first to talk is the shortest hair. And then after a few minutes, I'll say, well, you exchange. Ideally, you change partner. You don't keep the same partner. And you try to go to a partner that you don't know very well. Don't stay with the ones that you know too well. Then the shorter starts and the longer listen. Okay, thank you. Now, maybe a few people could express what was happening during their experiences. Just a few people, just to see what people may want to share about that. Is there anyone who would like to start? It's always the most difficult, but don't worry, it won't last very long. Right? Can you pass that over? Thank you.
So do I have to share my experience, or do I have to say how it...
you can start, if you want, with sharing a few things on your experience, and then, if you wish as well, sharing what happened to you when you heard the experience.
Okay. So my experience was when I received the acceptance email to the school.
Wow.
So actually at the beginning, I was finding it quite hard to think about something positive that happened. I guess because I'm always thinking about the next thing and not about the past. But then since I'm in the school, obviously I thought of that. And it was a very good experience because I finally felt proud of myself, like I had accomplished something, like I had a goal and I knew where my life was going.
Good. What happened in your body? Your
like
emotions, your
physically,
thoughts?
I cried.
Right.
I cried. I went into a fit. I couldn't stop crying. And I was crying so much. It was like something bad had happened to me, but I was crying out of joy, actually, because I felt like this huge release off my shoulders, like something was going to happen and it finally happened.
Good. Good. Do you want to share with what you felt when the other person expressed?
Yeah, just one. Well, it was very nice to hear someone else's experience, but I don't really understand why some people didn't want to share it because they felt it was too personal. Because I think it's too, for me, it's very positive to share a positive experience with someone else.
Yeah, well, some people are shy, you know,
Okay.
but you know, some others are not. So, and there is something to learn
Yeah.
from all experience. Yeah, yeah, I understand. Yeah, sorry. I should have been clear. So my apologies. Don't worry. Don't take it personally. I could have expressed myself better about happiness that could be shared with other people. Sorry, I didn't do it. Someone else would like to share something?
One, two. Nice. So it was some weeks ago. I had someone in my arms, and it was someone kind to my heart, someone I care about a lot, and my body felt less tense, a little bit of fuzziness and warmth. And there was no thought at the end, just a very good moment of happiness.
Physically happy, emotions. You know.
It was almost bliss. It was a very high intensity in emotion, but still no south.
Mm-hmm. Good. You see, that is key to be able to reconnect with our body, with our emotions, with our thoughts, because very often
My belly gargouillait.
my body was making noises. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
But not about stress or bowel
Happiness.
movements or just making bubbles.
And your thoughts?
None.
Thank you very much. Someone want to share another happiness moment? Not too personal, please. Sorry.
For me, it was 2.5 weeks ago. It's a very weird moment to feel very happy about, but I was leaving Amsterdam for Paris. And I actually got a ride from my best friend from Amsterdam. And the moment we were, the goodbye moment, basically. The moment where I knew that I was going to leave my favorite city in the world behind for at least, I'm sorry about that, for at least quite a long time. I knew I was going to miss the hell out of my city, but I also knew that was this is the perfect moment for me to do this great experience. And I also, with my best friend, we said goodbye, we hugged, and that was just, I knew everything was going to be fine. Everything was going to be perfect. When I came back, when I would be here, I wasn't taking any risk or anything. It was just the logical next step, and I felt that it just felt so, I don't know, felt so powerful and inside, and I wanted to share my happiness with everybody, but it's very difficult to basically express that feeling of leaving beautiful life behind in a way, but going through the door to the next experience, I guess. And that just felt wonderful, and I was sharing that with my best friend. It was.
Can you please? I don't
Amazing.
understand very well. The happiness time was
the moment where I actually said goodbye to my best friend.
That was the
And
happiness.
that was just the moment where I realized I knew where I was going, and I knew everything was going to be perfect. And even though I wasn't going to see him for a long time, and of course I was going to miss all my friends back home, but it's good. And
Okay, thank you.
it was just knowing that I felt very safe. The fact that I could leave without worrying, that was just very powerful. And yeah, it was. Oh, thank you.
You just told me.
Yeah, it was knowing that the safe feeling that you feel like a ball of warmth, inside your chest, basically, and it felt like I was exploding in a way with just happy feelings, combined with just a very weird feeling of making the next step. I don't know. difficult. It's very difficult to explain why I was so happy saying goodbye to my best friend, but I was. I just the safeness was very comforting and very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. One last comment? One last example?
Hello. Sorry if I'm for my English. I will try to do the best or express myself. My happiness moment was in the experience. I was in the beginning. I was, oh my god, I haven't a good experience in my life. And after I relaxed, I thought I had a lot of good experiences, and I choose this one. It was the first time I'm a lot in the mechanic sport. It was the first time I was drifting with the car, and it was it's a sensation. It was like normally it's not a thing that happen like that. It's an offbeat action, and because it was me who did this, and it was I controlled these actions, and the accent which was not in the habit. If someone drifts, it's not good in the habit in a normal situation, but that sensation was really good, and I was really excited. I did it just after, and that's thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, what can we learn from all that? What is the key to all that? And I'll start to reconnect. Well, the key to all that is that happiness time in when we reconnect, really reconnect to ourselves from within, to others, and with nature. That is normally the 3 times of happiness that we may have. It is when we reconnect. So that is key to know when we disconnect, because then we can work better on connection. And that is really the key, to know within, to know with the outer world, and to know with the interconnected world. And if every one of us is a world, then we connect within us, with the other world, and with all the humanity. And that is key specifically for you people who are in high-tech, who are in technology. It is easy to be sort of taken by technology and spend a lot of time trying or feeling being connected because you are on social networks. The important key is to be connected to oneself in order to be connected with others. And that is where emotional intelligence is key, because we have learned that it is very difficult for a number of us to express emotions. And emotions are key if we want to become more what we are. And that is the connect that we must have, all of us, with ourselves and with the others, if we want to be in the flow state. Holly?
I think we're just going to take a wrap up now for a 10-minute break. It's 3:23. So why don't we say at 15h35, 3:35, we come back here. Okay? Thank you. So, well, welcome back. We're going to kind of dive into the whole thing of technology and empathy now. I think you understand a little bit what is emotional intelligence. It's self-awareness, self-management. Basically, those are 2 aspects that we wanted to present a little bit. Know your body, know your mind, know your thoughts, know your feelings. And then how do I manage it? You know, how do I learn to respond in a way that corresponds to who I am deep down? What are my values? You know, again, we're going over this in a way that might be is kind of fast. It's an introduction. At the end of it, we're going to give you some other things to follow up. Apps that are, I think, pretty much one that is especially free. I think so. Some people at the break said to me that like the body scan we did, that practice is it felt like incredible. Like, wow, that's amazing. It's like smoking a joint or something. You're like, wow, chill. And knowing that you can do it without smoking, well, you'll save some money first of all, and maybe it's excellent actually to be able to change your body and your sensation and your mind yourself to really be the master of it all. Okay, so those are practices that will on an app called Insight Timer that I'll give you at the end. But because it's so important to learn how to relax. And we're so in our culture about relaxing, whether we're going to go and run, which is really great. We run, do sports, like really intense sports, or we drink, or smoke, or, I don't know, what else you do to relax? Play video games. Okay. Oh. I know. We think it's relaxing, right? Because why? What? We're escaping. Yes, thank you. There's a whole thing of alternative ways of what we call the, altering your consciousness. Okay, you know what? And it's a $40 trillion amount of money that in the world we're spending to alter our consciousness. Online porno is one of the biggest ones. Drugs, illicit, even prescribed drugs, alcohol. We want to alter our conscious because, like what Edda was saying, the three breaks or disconnections or fracture are saying we just can't. Where is it? Where is it? Where is that connection? And I want to just get out of this thing of what I am right now. And what we're proposing, basically, in that first hour and a half, was what is that? I can reconnect to myself, and I can have everything in myself, and I can manage and live like an exceptional life with just using my own resources. Okay? So now we're going to go back into that idea of technology and empathy, because we feel that, they asked that I do this on technology and empathy, because what's happening today is actually there's studies that show that kids will, when I say kids, I don't mean to call you kids, but I am a mom and I've got kids your age. So young people, they got their phone on them and something happened, like their girlfriend. How many of you have broken up with your girlfriend or your boyfriend by telephone, by SMS? Yeah. Come on, be honest. Yeah. Oh, it's horrible. When you think about it, like, putain, c'est terminé. People your age, the studies have shown, you prefer to show your emotions by an SMS or instant messenger or whatever social media. Okay, you prefer to send that information by phone. En français, to be really clear, la recherche a montré que les jeunes adultes préfèrent envoyer par SMS ou par social media quelque chose comme c'est fini ou je t'aime. Même chose. Par téléphone, au lieu de dire je t'aime face à face. Qu'ils ont peur aujourd'hui. En fait, I'll go back to English. They're afraid today. What's happening is that young people don't know how to interact face to face anymore. To go into an interview, to say something difficult. You know what? I don't know how to do that. Can you help me? It's like, can't do that. So these skills of communication, presence in the body, knowing I have this difficulty to say something to somebody face to face, so I send it by texto. Well, you can't have an interview by texto, by SMS, or you've got to stand face to face and say, okay, I want this job. I'm really, I don't know what I am. How do you talk about yourself in front of others? It's going to be a problem because you all prefer, I'm going to say the majority wants to do it by phone. Okay, so this idea, that's what we're saying, is technology fueling the empathy deficit? Because the empathy deficit has gone down since the internet has become, the internet world has started. Empathetic responses have decreased since technology has increased. I'm not against technology. I'm only here to talk about, maybe we need to think about that. Because when Edouard asked you about your happy moment that you felt, nobody talked about it. Oh yeah, when I was on my phone and it was so good and oh, I love it, Nobody said that. Nobody had a happiness experience by their social media. Yet we're getting a high every time we see if how many likes we got on our Instagram or how many people responded to our tweet or, our Facebook or whatever. So it's just, I just want to put that little thing inside of you put that seed inside of you so you start to say, gee, how am I running my life? How am I leading my life? Okay? And am I an empathetic person? Empathy is the skill that's going to make the world work tomorrow. We need it today. But those are studies that have been done. I can't name them right now by heart but if you look empathy studies, you'll find it right away. You find it right away. How do they measure them? There's all different kinds of measures, face to face. They interview, 300 people. I mean, they're all scientific studies. They're all coming out of the States. Yeah. Okay. So it's both sides. I didn't want to come across as being that it's all you guys are not empathetic, but I'm taking a very back view of the research is showing that since internet things have started, but it's not just your generation, it's our generation too. I mean, it's that in general, people are less empathetic with the advent of technology. Do you say it in French? Because I'm not really sure. Ben oui, mais je crois que ça va être comme ça. I think that we're really going that way, that we're going to have to go that way as well. Why is mindfulness has increased, like since it was introduced in 2009 in France when we started teaching just that program, and now we're 2017, it's like in articles all the time, it's just, so there is a need for that. Yet there's also part of us that are still acting like this, blindfolds. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to break into two groups. I'm going to show you a short video. So please forgive the Americana part. It's not important. You'll just watch. Notice how you feel when you're watching it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this half of the room. When the video's done, I want you to stay in silence, everybody. This half of the room is going to go with Edouard, and you're going to go into the room next door. Okay? And this half of the room, you're going to stay with me. And we're going to break up into groups, and we're going to do it's kind of nicer to do a little bit of smaller group things and go from there. So, again, watch the video, silence. Edouard will bring you guys in the other room, and everyone else will stay here. And then we're going to do some group activity, some smaller group things on empathy, and then we'll come back again at the end of the time. Okay? All right, so let's see if this works.
And now, to honor America and salute the men and women serving our country with our national anthem, please welcome, as voted by you, the fans, our winner of the Toyota Get the Feeling of a Star promotion, Natalie Gilbert.
last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran where, and the king in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Okay, so you get beyond the Americana, just feel that little girl, her experience, and in silence now, you guys can go with Edouard to the room next door. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Is I want you all to just, well, they left their things, but it'd be nice if you guys in the back can come down here so we can kind of have a little bit more easy of a group. Just kind of fill up, let's just fill up these spots here. And I want you to mix around and find another partner right away. Someone you haven't worked with yet. So just get somebody else to, and sit around here, find a partner. Okay. I see that everyone has a partner. Just let me know. You don't have a partner yet? Everyone has a partner? You too? You too? You too? Who's alone? Okay, so you're with him now. Everyone's got a partner? You guys? You got a partner? Okay. Okay, you guys, you don't have to be so, it's everyone like doesn't like you in the front. Come in the front, somebody, because you need a little space. Because you need your space for this next exercise. So kind of, spread out a little bit. Come in the front, don't be afraid. Voila. Cool. Two there. Yeah, just so you have a little space. Okay, so you two are working together? Okay, you two are working together? Okay. All right. Okay, so first exercise, you got your partner. Let's say the person who has the shortest hair is going to be person A. So you decide whose hair is shorter. Easy for you guys. Easy for you. Easy for you. Okay. So you see whose partner A is going to be, partner shorter hair is going to start. And partner B is going to be the person who listens. So this is just introducing a practice we call mindful listening. I'm going to shut this screen off. We don't need to see the American flag. Okay, so the idea about mindful listening is actually, it's like a meditation. You're just going to listen, like everything about that person says, what she or he is saying to you. How does it feel? Like, what is it? Maybe you're going to feel like they're going to talk about something about the experience they just had, and you're like, yeah, me too. I felt that, or I don't know, or I didn't feel that at all, or oh, I feel embarrassed, or I feel sad, or I feel hot, cold, whatever. When you're mindful listening, what you're trying to do is get as many senses as possible into the moment. Just mindful living is about using your five senses, sight, touch, hearing, blah, blah, blah. That's how we kind of fill up our sensorial awareness. More we fill up our sensorial awareness, more in the end of the day we feel like we really lived. And sometimes we feel like we just fill up our heads, with all the work or whatever we're doing, the charge mentale. And in the end, we just feel like wasted at the end of the day, like so tired, like just give me a drink and knock me out of here, And you can learn to manage that by just living more in your bodies, in the sensorial life, like that's a full life. Otherwise it becomes like becomes full plate. I did so much today. Oh my God. Empty life. But what did I do? Syndrome. Full plate, empty life syndrome. I don't know if you guys are having that, but a lot of the people I work with who are over 40 are, where they feel like they just work, go home, eat, drink, sleep, smoke, whatever, go to bed, and then they can't sleep. I'm so tired. I just can't sleep. And my life is so empty, but I'm so busy. Like I said, you should do some practice, like just a 5-10 minute practice. I'm so busy. I can't do that. What? 5 minutes? You can't do 5 minutes a day and give something to yourself? So anyway, so this whole thing, this practice now, mindful listening, is you're going to, the person A is going to talk to you, but really person B now, it's the job of what is listening? When I listen, like, what is it like? Normally we listen, someone's talking to us and we're listening and I got to solve that problem. Oh, don't do that. That's stupid. There's judgments. And most of the time people just want to be heard. Just want to feel, she heard me. He heard me. Feels good to be listened to. Do you have anyone in your life that you feel listens to you? Who listens to you guys? Who? Your best friend, okay? Who listens to you? Mother. Yes. Good. Okay, anyone else? Like you? Everyone has someone they feel listens to them. It's so important, that connection. Okay? But it's also a gift to give people throughout your life. In your work life, it's going to be so important because that develops an interconnection, interpersonal connection. People remember you for how you made them feel, not for what you did. It's such an important thing to learn now because that little extra, you just took those 2 minutes and looked at somebody and said, how are you? And you stopped and you waited to hear. There's, oh, ça va. Get into those movements. That's the empathetic response that in the end makes that person's day change completely and makes your life change completely. Okay, so the question or what you're going to talk about, person A, is what did that do to you? What came up? What happened? Body, mind, emotion, maybe made you think of something else that you lived, whatever. You can talk about whatever you want, using that as the jump of, that experience. Person B, never going to say a word. You're just listening, and that's all. You'll have a minute to talk. Then I'll say, stop, ding. And still person B doesn't say anything yet. And person A will stop talking, finish your phrase, and then I'll guide you from there. Okay, so it's very guided. That's why I want you to take time, take some space, and feel that you can talk in this space. If you want to move back now into the wherever. So you can get together now, and when you're ready, now you may sit down. I'll wait till everyone's ready. Okay, and ding, you can start now. Clock's on. Oh, go there. Voilà. Go ahead. You'll have more than a minute. Actually, I'm stupid. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Sorry. Starting now. Okay. Now you can stop talking. Now you just finish your phrase. And everybody just finish your phrase, close your eyes, and just notice. Wait, you could keep talking forever. So just, bien. Bravo. Alors aussi, vous pouvez échanger en français. Je suis désolée, je n'ai pas dit ça avant. So now just silence and just, if you were person A, what did you say? How do you feel about what you said? Do you feel exposed? Or maybe it was very easy, or, you're happy with what you said? And person B, what was it like to listen? What did you feel when you were listening to that person's story? Did you feel affected? Did you feel brought in? Did you feel you wanted to ask questions? Did you feel you wanted to find the response? Did you feel you wanted to help? Did you feel completely not at all involved in it? Okay. Now, we're just going to let go of that story. And now person B, of course, is going to say his or her experience, have 2 minutes. And person A now, same thing. You don't ask questions. You just listen. And you guys can start. Just wait 5 seconds. And if you finish before 2 minutes are up, before I say, you can just stay in silence. And you can start now. Go ahead. So you can finish your phrase and just stop. And again, either close your eyes or just look down or just kind of come back into yourself and say, okay, if you were person B talking, What was it like to talk? What did you feel talking? What did you say? Okay, how was that experience? In person A, you were listening this time. What was that like? Again, did you have thoughts that came across to move on, or just wanted to tell them something, or judgment, and which is completely human and normal. It's whether we act upon those judgments that change everything. Just how was it to listen? Did you feel physically the act of listening? Okay. And now I'm just going to give you 2 minutes, just to the two of you to freely. How was that experience? How did you live it? Blah blah blah. And then we're going to get to the whole group again. So 2 minutes now. Freely interchange between you. Okay, you can finish up your exchange. And let's see, how am I going to do this? We're going to make like a circle as best as we can here. I want everyone to kind of be able to see each other. I'll sit here, and then we're going to just kind of place ourselves and try to make a circle. I know it's an amphitheater, it's not that easy, but I'm going to sit here and we'll try to come around here, up there, and so everyone can see each other. And we'll see how you guys, so we're just trying to make as best as we can a circle so everyone can see each other. And, more or less, yeah, everyone can see each other, and it's okay if it's not a great circle, because what I would do about someone else can come down here next to me, next to the teacher. Come on. How are you? Yeah, good. It's really, for me, I think I prefer always working with young people. I feel really nice energy here. I feel really happy to be with younger people. I love working with startups too. I do a lot of work for free, but it's gives me a lot of sense in my life, and I don't know, I just felt I wanted to share that. When I see you guys talking and exchanging and taking 3 hours out of your daily program, which I think is a lot. And I was surprised when at first I said, oh, just a conference, just an hour and a half. No one will want to come for 3 hours. They said, no, I think it's going to be good, 3 hours. Wow, okay. So I just wanted to say that to you, and say that I'm really moved by your openness to exchange with each other, and to, say you want to come into a program like this. I'm really always like, wow, I think maybe 5 people will come, and to have so many, I'm really happy. So I just wanted to say that first. And now I want to say hear a little bit about from you guys, like, how was that experience of seeing the girl, and what did you live? And what is empathy for you? Like, where honestly do you feel you are in the empathy? Really empathetic, but mildly, or scared to be empathetic, which is really normal as well. So I'm just going to pass this around, and if you don't want to talk, don't talk. Obviously, I'm not going to get everybody. We have about 20 minutes. You just, if someone feels they really want to, say something, please do. Whatever. I'm just going to, yeah.
First, I just would like to ask you something. To me, there is a difference between empathy and compassion. And I always mix the both. But for me, there is like, one is when you can feel people's feelings, but you feel as well the feelings. And the other one is like when you are able to understand the feelings of someone, but you can step aside and say, this is not my feeling. I understand your feeling, but I'm not emotionally involved. So which one is which?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cognitive is, I think, I know that person is suffering. I understand that. Gee, that's suffering. I know that. Emotionally, wow, I can feel that suffering. Okay, so there's emotional and cognitive empathy. And I can keep my limits. I know that I feel it really, it's terrible. Compassion is then the next step. I'm going to do something to alleviate their suffering. That's the definition between the two. Empathy is the first step. I feel it. I know it. But I'm able to keep my limits. And compassion, I feel it. I know it. And I do something about it. Problem is, which I'm sure is going to come up, and I'll let that come up, what happens when I'm too empathetic, when I lose myself in it. So anyway, we'll see if that comes up. Go ahead and did you have anything else you wanted to say? Does everyone understand now the difference between compassion and empathy? Okay.
I think I'm very, very, very empathetic, right? And now since several years, I'm working on, but I know that it's a strength. I don't feel that it's a weakness. I think that the problem is like when you show emotion, society tells you that it's a weakness, but I do not feel that it's a weakness because we are all human beings, so we all have feelings and emotions. So, hello. But yes, in several years, what I'm trying to do is to be able to be empathetic, but to not get too much emotionally involved, because if I want to help someone, it means that I have to be clear in my mind and not to be too emotionally involved as well. Plus, it's hurting me as hell. So that's it. So I was like trying to, I really feel deeply happy when the guy stepped in and helped her, because it was a horrible moment for her. And I think a lot of people experience it when you just freeze because of stress. And I was like, I hope someone came and helped me at this moment. And everybody was like, yeah, now well, you can make it. But nobody did. But it's also very hard because I wanted to cry because it was such a beautiful gesture. And I know that I cannot cry because I will look weak. And I don't want to look weak. So it was a beautiful but complicated moment to handle.
Okay, thank you. Please pass on whoever else wants to, what you lived, whatever you lived in that last moment, the exchange, whatever. It was your partner? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you. I will try to speak in English or in French.
As you can. Do we have any non-French speakers here? Okay, that's okay. I just.
Okay, I'll try.
I feel for you.
It was a very interesting moment, and she said what I think we all felt.
Tell me specifically what you felt.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I personally felt I don't know, stressed.
Stressed, yeah.
Because I knew before the judo started. I didn't know, but I guessed that she would get in trouble because she was before a crowded place. I guessed, and I feared before it happened. And when it happened, I said, "Oh my God, what will happen?
Yeah.
How will she will be doing to get out of this trap?" And when I saw the guy who came to her, it was a big moment of I wanted to cry also because I was very happy, and I wondered if the crowd will laugh at her or will encourage her. It was also a very strange moment, but it was a good moment. And I also wanted to ask something. I don't know if he's asking or sharing something. When we come into getting connected to other people in society, sometimes it gets very difficult to get linked to suffering, to misery, and to feel powerless. And don't know if c'est le réflexe.
The reflex.
The reflex, thank you. The reflex is to get protected, to close our field. Yeah. So how can we stay connected to other people? How can we get involved into the reality without being affected by our our
Yeah.
lack of
S-
power.
Yeah, exactly. A practice that was taught to me many, many years ago that helps is first of all, we're all interconnected. So that connection is always there. Do we tune into it or not? Is our, right. We want to connect or we don't. So when it becomes too difficult, because we all have to respect ourselves first and our limitations, the easiest way is to just send them positive energy. Send them empathy. Send them a feeling. A feeling can be sent and felt and received. So you had the intuition that something was going to happen to that girl. You knew that, and you're wondering that, you were already there. Same thing. You can pass people and just send it to them. It's an excellent habit. If you ever read the book by the Google guy called Chade Men Tang, called Search Inside Yourself, he does that practice where he just sends positive vibes. Just closes his eyes from it, connects to his heart, sends, as if he was there, like a energetic hug or something, and say, hey, I feel for you. I'm powerless right now. I can't give you $1,000, $10 or, just send you that. Because it's really important to respect your own limits. Otherwise you go into burnout. And sometimes it's just, just this. I don't mean that's like big, just to touch somebody. I know right now it has to be really careful about where you touch. Don't touch. I hate that, but it's important because I'm a toucher, so I understand inappropriate touching is inappropriate, but appropriate touching is appropriate. And that connection right there already will help somebody. Yes, a few days ago I was having dinner with a really good friend from England who does this work as well. And he was with his wife, I was with my husband, and he was sitting in front of me, and we were blabbing, having a drink of wine, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden he just turned and he looked at me and said, how are you? Said with so much heart, and he looked at me, and I was just moved. And I said, so I love this friend because we're in the midst of all the blah, 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 and all of a sudden zeroes in, says those words, and you feel like, I was like, oh, I had a hard time last week, whatever. But that connection, establishing that connection with somebody, first because you've established that with yourself. So that's why here we're talking in the first hour and a half about self-awareness, emotional intelligence. It starts with yourself. Do you know yourself? I'd ask you, do you know your strengths, your weaknesses, your ambitions, and your needs? And do you have a dialogue with yourself that's positive or negative? We all have those thoughts coming all the time, those judgments. Oh, pourquoi tu fais ça? Why'd you do that? That's stupid. You're stupid. You're never going to do anything in life. Maybe somebody said something to you when you were little and it stuck. Those kinds of judgments that people put on you that stay with us. I meet with people of all ages, and there can be a 50-year-old guy who's saying, I'm still battling that. My teacher in, second grade when I was 7 told me that, and I still feel like I can still be that little boy who can never do anything good in his life. We all got those crappy messages. So notice, all I'm saying is self-awareness is noticing they're just thoughts that coming. It doesn't mean you have to interact with them, but you have to know them so that you can catch them and not ride on that bad thought plane. Okay. So let's go on. Who else wants to talk? Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, it is really beautiful to hear your voice because yes, sure, because it's very peacefulness, and hearing is a way to calm down and try to let us think well. So my question is, how can we involve other people to feel interconnected when we have a stressful environment with a lot of speed and constraints, and maybe not with this kind of freedom.
Well, I'd say that that would be first, you can't make anybody do anything. You can only be it yourself. And when you're being it yourself, you're able to kind of like a radio. Okay, you guys never used radios, but you tune into a certain, you hear the radio really well. And that means, so if you tune really into yourself, get to that place where you say, like, if you like my voice, so that's something that's responding to something in you. It's not me. I mean, I'm just sending out a wave and you're picking up on that. So that you're picking up on it, that means that you have the receiver. Okay, so you got to connect to that receiver that's in you. It's being piqued by me. It's like you hear it, you hear that sound, but that means you have it in you. And we all have it in you. We all have it. So you just say, okay, today I'm gonna try to stay on that vibe, on that radio wave or that vibration. And, find ways that make you come back to that. For example, I don't know, when you're working, you're sitting down coding or whatever, sometimes you get lost in it. 3 hours later, there you are. When you find out you've lost because you're just working in it, which is great, flow state, but you're out of the flow state, get up, change your position, change your physical body position, get fresh air, drink a glass of water, do something that connects you again to your physical sensations of being, present. And note your habits. How many are smokers here? Not that many. I'm amazed. Wow. Okay. So smokers, for example, no judgment. Sometimes we just smoke. We don't even think about it. Got to take a break. I got to smoke. And notice, next time you want to have that cigarette, be really conscious about it. Do I want that cigarette? Why do I want the cigarette? Who wants that cigarette? Is it the stressful me? Or is it the connected to that me? Which can be perfect. I want that joint. I want that drink of beer. I want that. But I know before I choose something that might alter my consciousness, other than myself altering my consciousness, I decide, do I want that drink or not? Yeah, I do. I want to consciously take that drink. And I know when I drink that, it's going to maybe relax me a little bit more. I want to go there. I like the taste of the wine, or I don't know. I like the taste of the cigarette. I like the ambiance that it creates. But again, the key, nothing is wrong. You can do everything you want in your life, but just be conscious about it. Just be aware of why you're doing it. Okay? So again, let's come back to empathy. How in the setting today, so you guys have all been here for at least 1 year. Oh wait, some of you started in September? How many started in September? Okay, so you've been here for a few months. And so you're pre-life, before you came to 42. Did you ever think about empathy? Yeah? Okay. And now in 42, how is that? How is empathy and collaboration? Because I know collaboration is a big point of 42. Do you feel that collaboration has something to do with empathy, or empathy has something to do with collaboration? And what is it, if you do? Anybody answer? Think about that girl, and think about Mo Cheeks. That was the guy's name, who was a coach, a really well-known American coach, who actually walked from the farthest. He was on the farthest side of the gymnasium, the stadium, whatever. He walked across where anybody moved to help that girl. You don't see that, but he walked a far way to walk around and go and help her. Okay, so that's feeling, moving it to action, compassion. I decide to go and help her. I'm sure he didn't even think about it, because that's a good sign of a good coach. And he was coaching her. He couldn't sing that well, but he knew the words, Okay, so tell me about your life at 42 and empathy and collaboration. Whoever wants to say anything. And well, one big rule is everything we say here stays here. You know, the Vegas rules. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I forgot to say that in the beginning. So please, nothing is repeated out of here. What you hear, so we make it, you know, people can share and say, it sucks here or it's great here. I don't know. Who wants to say something? Empathy and collaboration. Let's see first if I want to have first someone else say something. The question?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you French? Ok, aujourd'hui, aujourd'hui dans vos vies 42, collaboration est très important, je crois, ici. J'ai compris. Il faut collaborer dans la piscine pour arriver devant votre place. Qu'est-ce que vous voyez aujourd'hui comme collaboration? Est-ce qu'il y a une relation entre collaboration et empathie et collaboration? You understand? Go ahead.
For my point of view, collaboration fuels empathy, and it goes the way around. It's cyclic. If I can speak only for myself.
Exactly.
If I get empathetic with one who I work with and get a better sense of what they do, what they feel, what's going on at the end, I can be more helpful in the collaboration. And then if everyone collaborates well, we have a better sense of each other, and then it fuels empathy. So at the end, collaboration and empathy is a virtuous circle, I guess.
Okay, all right, thank you. Excellent. Let's move it around. You want to say something? No, okay. Allez, vas-y. Someone else? That's why.
For me, before 42, I made 3 years of drawing studies, and in drawing, empathy and emotion are very, very important. Is the heart of a good drawing, and I can make the difference between my studies on drawings and 42. I think 42 there is a lot of collaboration, but not that much on the emotion, or not maybe the empathy, but it's not really the main point of the whole collaboration. Yeah, I don't know how to say that better, but in drawings, really the emotion are the main things, and they are very, very important, and collaboration is less. So I think it's difference. They both complete each other, and I think it's all.
Okay, can I ask you a question? So drawing is art, yeah. So artistic endeavor, you feel something emotional, something's coming out, and it's there. When you're collaborating on a project, have you already had a project to collaborate on, a learning project?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's more. Were there any problem? Like, how many people did you work with in the group?
3 or 4.
Okay. And how? Were any of those people here?
No.
Okay. And did you feel that you wanted to be more talk more emotionally, or was it a frein? What is a stop, or c'était un frein pour toi pour parler un petit peu plus, de comprendre un petit peu plus le côté émotionnel, ou est-ce que tu as fonctionné très bien comme ça? Did you function very well like that?
No. For me, it's just my opinion. I think when I work, I just walk, and I don't think about empathy or emotion. So it's my very own opinion. But in fact, I don't care about emotion if they don't have anything, any direct interaction with the work we are doing. For example, if someone, if my teammate is sad, sure, this is empathy is very important to 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 I don't know how to say this, but empathy is very important. But if there is no emotion involved in the work or directly involved with this, I don't think is very important.
Okay. Okay. I think we're going to open up now to everybody and go back to. So thank you all. It's interesting. It's very interesting. We're gonna address those things now a little bit more here. Let me take that. So you can all kind of go back to your places. Okay. So after our quick little collaboration on that, seeing how the Edouard's group and my group went, seemed it was kind of similar. We're not going to go back to doing a practice, okay, meditation practice this time. So just to we're kind of moving from things back and forth so you have a feel for, hopefully, of what we're trying to initiate you to, and the idea of this self-awareness, emotional intelligence, being present, mindful, and the feeling of empathy, all together. Okay, so why is that important? What is it? Right now, we're going to do just a very easy meditation practice, which is focusing, concentration practice, let's call it. Okay? So again, just sit, as comfortably as possible. Okay, so I invite you to open your eyes. I think we're going to move on to almost a wrap up here. First of all, how was that experience, if anybody wants to talk about it? We call that, it's a very traditional, brought from a traditional practice in Buddhism called, I forget, what's the Buddhic name of that? Loving kindness in English, loving kindness meditation. Yeah, metta. We say metta? We just call it metta? Okay. I'm not Buddhist. I'm more of a yogic background. Thank you. You use metta? Do you use that? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. How about someone that was the first time you did that practice? Okay. Do you want to tell me about it, any of you guys? Who wants to talk? How was that experience for you? Please.
I had a hard time finding people from any three categories. I didn't really know. I was switching people.
You're trying to say who wants it, or
not. Who wants it? Who do I want? Who could this category?
Okay, so you were really in the mental part, like just thinking about who all mind was moving. Maybe I should have been, excuse me, I should have been maybe more specific. Just the first person who comes to your mind. I should have said that. Sorry. So that was difficult to key in on the person. Okay. Is anyone that it was easy to do and it was the first time? Okay. Pass this to you.
It was it was peaceful.
Okay. Great. It's good to feel peaceful, no? Sometimes I say to people, how much would you pay for peace of mind? Think about it. Okay, peaceful. Great. Sit around. Anybody else? Yeah. Behind you.
I don't know if that was the purpose of the exercise, but I felt the exact same way as the first exercise we did at the beginning. And I can relate. I do a lot of sports, and after I'm done, I always just have a feeling of release. I'm feeling really good, and I have the exact same feeling right now. So that's pretty strange.
Okay, interesting. Interesting to know what makes us feel good. Okay, thank you. There's someone here, Edouard, you said, who wanted? Okay.
So it was really easy at the beginning because I directly thought of my girlfriend and all the love I can send to her. I send it, and but then when I have to focus on someone I just see on the street every day or someone, it was more difficult to send the same kind of love or unconditional love, as you said. And it was like, why you have to do that? Because it's my girlfriend. It's really something I feel.
Yeah.
It's really something we have built together. And while the other, okay, I can send a bit, but not the same.
Okay, that's cool. That's all right. And the stranger, or no, the person you don't.
It's a person I never talked to. I never, but I see every time I go eat at the canteen. So
You think next time you'll talk to that person, say something like, "Hey, how you doing?"
yeah, why not?
Why not?
And it was when I visualized that he received it. It was like more. Like before, for my girlfriend, we were really.
Yeah, we get
hugging
that.
each other. Okay,
We all know that. We can see her sitting next to you, and you guys are okay. Stop. Now the other person.
With the other person, it was more like here, a little hug. Okay.
Yeah, and that's great. Even you could even do the little hug, not just patting on the back. Or
And it felt good.
it felt good when you felt that that person received
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's connection.
While for the last one, I really had difficulties, and I almost felt like even when I sent, I actually managed to
Good for you.
send a little, even later than the second one, and I felt like, oh, okay, like on WhatsApp, noticed. I received. I look
yeah.
and I don't care.
Yeah.
I get that feeling.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Someone else, thank you. Right behind you.
I have a really hard. It was really hard to not to find the people, but to send something because I don't really. I don't really see the loving to send, so I it's hard to. It was very hard.
Okay, so this is maybe a sense of connecting to your body. You know, when you feel loved or you feel you're loving somebody, what does that feel like? So I would suggest to you to experiment the feeling of, you know, many different emotions. Sad, what does it feel like when you're sad? When you're sad, how do you know you're sad? You feel maybe, you know, you feel the maybe tears, you feel crispé in the chest, you know, sad or heavy on your shoulders. And when you feel happy, what do you feel? You feel kind of like light and bouncy. And, you know, when people feel like it's hard for them to send something, which I totally understand, it's often because we've forgotten our connection to our own body and what we feel in our own body. Okay, so self-awareness, I'd say to you, notice when you're feeling something like, oh, I'm feeling hungry. Okay, we all know when we feel hungry, like what that feels like. When we feel loved, what does that feel like? When we give love, what does that feel like? So I'd suggest you try to really focus, remember when you're feeling an emotion, feel it. Often we think it. I am sad, not I feel sad. So, you know, it's kind of this, can be a mindset instead of a body set. Okay? Emotion is in the body. It's not in the mind. It's really important. Thank you for sharing that you did that. It didn't It wasn't easy. More questions now. If you have any questions, yeah, about, because we're almost 5 o'clock already. Gosh, we had a lot of stuff we didn't cover too. I'm amazed how quickly this went. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah. The microphone is very interesting. Oh, they're doing the sound.
Okay. I do a lot of sports. I actually am a secretary of the sport association of the school.
Oh,
here at
great.
42. And sometimes I feel like our friend back there, like at the end of the sport, it's we feel accomplished. And sometimes we feel like no energy or
Yeah.
just aching everywhere. And some of us started getting interested in yoga and
Great.
meditation.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to ask if you have any question, any suggestions, sorry, for better understand our body after or before, or maybe even
Well,
during.
you're having a teacher come here?
We don't have any teacher for sports, but I'd like to have some tips to.
Yeah. Well, I've been teaching yoga for many years and meditation, as you know. In yoga, if it's a really good teacher, they should be taking pauses in the class, at the end of class especially, to just feel. When you do an asana, you do a pose, so you hold it for a minute, and you finish the pose. It's as important as doing the pose. The post pose, let go. What did that pose do? What do you feel? And notice, 'cause it's like when you do a contraction and you release the contraction, there's something happens in the physical body as well. So noticing the contraction and the decontraction, the opening, and taking time for that. So sometimes I know when you work out and just lay down and just feel like, remember the body scan we did in the beginning? And just feel your whole body. Get the mind connected really to the body and feeling that. I feel depleted. I feel hot. I feel a coldness here. I feel an ache here. Then breathe. Just take 5 minutes of deep abdominal breathing. But I'm surprised you can't get a teacher to come.
Well, we never actually searched practice,
All right.
let's say that.
Okay.
And maybe there is also this idea that at 42 we just learn by watching YouTube tutorials.
Yeah, that's okay.
So
that gets you to a point like an app, but even meditation, it gets you to a certain point. But honestly, I don't know how you can really, really, really get the fine tuning of it without a live person sometimes. But, I don't know. Go ahead.
I did a yoga teaching course in Dharamshala, so if you want, maybe we can work
Ah,
something.
voilà. Great. Great. Yeah, great. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been pretty impressed by what you told about young generation having trouble feeling empathy, and I was wondering.
Not just the young, the old, but that study particularly was on young people.
Yeah, definitely. And I was wondering, do you think maybe technology could be developed more to increase empathy in the creative process?
Okay, that's a really good question. I think that technology can be our friend and our foe. It depends. You understand what foe is? It's the enemy, let's say. If we are not able to manage ourselves to be our own master, then it can take us away. And when we're able to use it to our benefit, I decide when I use this. I notice when I'm using too much. I notice what it feels like in my head when I'm on too much. And I think that is also a way of generating an immense amount of empathy. If you look at all the social causes that people look at, Me Too, hashtag Me Too, or hashtag Balance ton port. That is generating a lot of changes, huge changes in the society that are positive. People are getting on, letting go of huge, years of holding in something that happened to them, difficulty, and able to express it in a way that's, they're telling their story. So that's generating for me a lot of goodness and empathetic feelings. Then men are understanding that, the cat calling and, in the street for a girl who's 13 can be really debilitating. And for a girl of 17 or 21 or 50 something. Well, sometimes I'm like, no, that's terrible. Like, hey. Saying that in front of my husband is, sorry, darling. I didn't mean it. So I think, yes, that technology can be really used. It's just, we've got to be really sharp and conscious. That's, I think, what we're doing, what Edo and I are trying to do is bring individual consciousness, raise individual consciousness, which raises then the collective consciousness. And technology can be used, like all the startups that are socially, what is that called? Socially responsible, or, for causes. All the, like, fantastic what technology is doing to, I know someone who's doing a project.
Social entrepreneurship.
Social entrepreneurship, thank you. Where they're doing, getting all the gaspillage, all the waste of food, who has been part of that, to now that's a law that, grocery stores can't throw away that food anymore. Associations can grab it. Well, that all happened through a network of social, social media. So there's huge problems can be solved, and we can bring about and use our empathetic feelings to these causes that are going to change those three, what did you call them? Fracture, but in English you call it disconnections with nature, with society, and with ourselves. So yeah, my answer is yes.
And I would just say something. That's not a question, but one of the reasons I'm here is definitely this. And I think one thing is really important to have in our mind, all of us, learning how to program and all, because I think we all have a responsibility, because we are kind of programming the world to come. And all doctors are swearing swearing,
taking an oath
on Hippocrates, and I think because they can grab hearts in their hand and all.
Yeah.
And to me, well, we are doing the same with brains.
Yeah.
By designing applications, by creating the next world, and this is really important for us to have that in mind and to look into these kind of things.
Exactly. That's exactly the point behind this whole conference, is to raise your awareness about the responsibility that you do all have in the world to change it positively.
And thank you for being here for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Edo, for coming and helping me today as well. Thank you, both of you. Stand up, you two. He's good. You can see changing your career at 50-something, and for since 2009, it's fantastic. I mean, there's life. We never know what's going to happen. It's almost 5:05, so we had it till 5. I don't know if someone else is programmed to come right away, but we're going to stay for a few minutes and clean up if you have any questions. I just wanted to leave you with, there's a app called Insight Timer that I think is still free. Although I thought maybe it's €2 or €3. It's really, and it's in French, English, Spanish. It's a really good app, Insight, I-N, and then Sight Timer. And you have all kinds of practices, the body scan practice or a yoga nidra practice, which is a guided practice where you lay down and it's really relaxing. It's something that you can start to do. You need to kind of be relaxed before you really meditate. So you can look at meditation practices. There's some that are 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, with thousands of teachers who donate their practice, their guided practice to this app. And there's a lot of apps out there that cost money, but this one doesn't. And it's one of the oldest apps. I've been using it for years because they have a lot of little bells, and it's a really nice app. And there's a community involved in everything. So, yeah, That's, yeah. Everyone thinks it's our dog, but it's not. He looks like that. But the most important thing, thank you, Edda, for reminding me, is anyone can just connect to your breath. You can just connect to your breath. We can all do it. It's the easiest way to meditate and to just take that break, 5-minute break, and just breathe and know you're breathing and watch yourself breathing and in and out. It's kind of like Yoda too. I love that picture. So I'm really happy to be here with you guys again. We might be doing something else soon. We'll see. If you like the atelier, if you like the workshop, tell Fabienne, tell Olivier, write, and you can easily find our emails, I think, through Fabienne as well. If you have any questions, please contact us. Love to continue doing this kind of work. And then if you want to start a meditation group, I think you should. That would be so fantastic. If you want, I'd come back, and I think you have a lot of training as well. Come back and just give you some tips or do some other practices. But it's really important to continue on this way. And I know that at 42, there used to be a monk here. I don't know if he's still here. He left? Ah, he was nice. He was here when I did my program in 2015. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's fantastic. Whatever you can do, work on it and set up that kind of an association to your sportif association too. It's great. A yoga teacher, go for it. Okay. And bring it into your world, into your coding world. It's fantastic. Thanks so much again, and see you guys soon. Bye.